All New York students are entitled under the state constitution to a sound basic education that prepares them, among other things, for effective civic participation. In essence, to be active members of their communities and their country. However, for generations now, America's schools have systematically failed to prepare students to be capable citizens. That, according to the executive director of the Campaign for Educational Equity at Columbia University's Teachers College. In his new book, titled Flunking Democracy, Schools, Courts, and Civic Participation, Michael Rebell further argues that this civic decline is also a legal failure, a gross violation of both federal and state constitutions that needs to be addressed by the courts. And we're delighted to have now the author of Flunking Democracy, Michael Rebell, also an experienced litigator in the field of education law, joining us today. Michael, nice to have you here with us.
Oh, it's wonderful to be with you, Jack.
The very beginning of your book, in your introduction, you start off with the American Revolution. And you talk about how, of the many consequences of the American Revolution, one was the notion that as a nation we needed to embrace the idea of education. Why was that so important? Why do you point to the American Revolution as the springboard, if you will?
Well, you know, many of the founding fathers really had this in mind. Ben Franklin had the famous quip when he came out of the Constitutional Convention. Somebody asked him, what did you accomplish at this convention? And he said, we created a republic if you can keep it. Mm-hmm. And Franklin, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, they were all convinced that they were embarking on a great new experiment in mass democracy, but it could only work if the citizens were educated and were able to understand political issues, were able to understand what their leaders were up to, when they should be skeptical about what their leaders were up to. So they were very big on this.
Do you think, then, as a society, as a culture, did we lose track somewhere of the notion of becoming a citizen of the Republic, being part of the educational process to learn how to do that?
We very much did. You know, throughout the 18th and the 19th century, if you asked anybody, an educator, a man on the street, a politician, what's the purpose of our public education system, they would say to create capable citizens. As a matter of fact, almost every state constitution has a clause that guarantees an education, and many of them begin with language like in Minnesota, it says, because a Republican form of government requires educated citizens, we're guaranteeing all citizens the right to attend school. So most of these were written in the 18th century, the 19th century. They're still the constitutional law, but I would say in the last 50 or 60 years, there's been a serious decline in the school's willingness and ability to get into this, probably starting around the Vietnam era with all the demonstrations, the skepticism about governmental institutions. That's a point of a marking point of when this decline started, I think.
Why do you think that is? Using that as your point of demarcation.
Well, there is more skepticism of government institutions, but I think it goes beyond that. It's things like the No Child Left Behind Act, which puts such a premium on teaching basic skills in reading and math, that actually the number of hours that are devoted to social studies and things like civics has gone down. I'll also say it's more difficult to teach civics in the 21st century than it was in the 19th century. We have a much more diverse population. There's less agreement on on what values should be, what are civic values. And things like dealing with the media, the internet, social media. Students really have to learn how to cope with the media, and it's hard for schools to teach that.
Among other things, you look at how woefully low the voting percentages of young people today.
Yes.
How few people go out and vote. What then should we be doing? How should we be, when we talk about a sound education, and I know different states use different terminology. New Jersey, where I live, talks about a thorough and efficient education. Right. What then should we be doing in New York to buttress that, to enhance that, to reintroduce, if you would, the idea of learning to become a competent and productive citizen of the Republic?
Okay, well, in my book, I get into 4 areas that I think are important. What we call civic knowledge, that's deep knowledge of history, functioning of government institutions, economics, et cetera, to be able to keep up with changing events. civic skills, and that means basic verbal ability, but it also means things like media literacy on how to deal with the internet, how to distinguish accurate from inaccurate facts that come across the internet, how to decide whether a website is biased. These are skills students really need these days, and probably the most important is what we call democratic deliberation skills, which means the idea of putting tolerance of other viewpoints into effect, to be able to enter into a discussion with people with differing views and have a civic discussion along those lines. This is why I think this whole area is so important in our time, because quite frankly, our politics is totally polarized. I don't think I have to explain that to you or anyone else. But our current generation of politicians is not going to get out from under that. Our only hope is if the young people learn these kinds of skills.
Now, Michael, once again, it's called Flunking Democracy, Schools, Courts, and Civic Participation. It's a very thoughtful look at a very troubling scenario for us. I want to thank you for spending some time and talking with us.
Well, thank you for being interested in this because it's really important that everybody thinks about our future, and that means our kids in our schools.
It's essential. Thanks, Michael. You be well.
Thank you.